You know, from the lowly fighter to the grand wizard, the basic human to the more interesting Aarakocra. Different classes and races and or species, as you were, is something that a lot of people like to think about when they actually prepare for their next D&D game.
Hi, I'm Anthony,
And I'm Roland.
and welcome to Twin Dragons. Welcome to our channel where we discuss everything tabletop role-playing games and more.
Here, I think we should talk about what are some of the classes, as well as species or races, that we enjoy the most, or maybe the least.
Well, I can definitely kick off and start with probably one of my most favorite classes is the Bard.
I knew it.
Nothing is as classic or can create as much shenanigans in the right hands as a Bard. To me, the Bard is the quintessential face of the party. The schmoozer, as you will. They can, charm the pants off of NPCs. They can, wink and get that dragon to fall in love with them. They are a very versatile and very fun class to play. What?
Obviously, with the Bard, the role-playing capacity is very, very grand, right? The room there is for being either, I guess, the wild, bombastic Bard is what people think about for the most part. But
It's classic.
I mean, even being the quiet guitarist, playing his tune in the back is
Sure.
that's still something. But no, we have to go bombastic. So of course,
That is my favorite style of play when it comes to the Bard, right? When you say, hey, what's your favorite class? Well, when I say Bard, it's because of that play style. It's the energy that you can bring into different situations, right? The trouble that you can get into by perhaps maybe, I wouldn't say seduce. I would say maybe, flirt with the queen, and maybe get in some trouble with the king, So I'm just saying the Bard is versatile because as a spellcaster, the mechanics, yes, absolutely great class, right? The versatility of its spells, Bardic Inspiration gives also some great versatility for the party and support and utility. But I think it's the role-playing aspect that really grabs me.
I think that maybe I'm wrong in the statistics, but I think a Bard might land a party in jail more than a rogue. I really do. I really do.
Okay, you're probably not wrong, for sure. But definitely shenanigans can be had. So, what about your favorite?
It is a tough one. I enjoy playing many different classes. They all have their own worth, but I would say the wizard. It's got to be, and not just for we're talking the quintessential versatility on spells, right? They have the biggest, generally speaking, they have the biggest spell book, right? The most options for their spells, right? And the power behind these spells, the scale of power is incredible, right? And yes, there is always room for role playing as well, right? From the bumbling wizard, right, to an old sage, an old wise sage, or you can say the mad scientist wizard, right? The mad scientist wizard class type. So there is still room for role playing, but I think mechanically wise, just because of spells and how powerful spells can become in the Dungeons and Dragons world, wizard has to be my choice.
I think about when we talk about the power scale, especially when you get into the higher tier levels of play. Man, those wizards can do some things that are just wild. Like, you may have started a campaign in Faerun and you're trying to keep the party local, but as soon as they start getting power, that wizard could just pick up a plane shifting kind of a spell and just teleport y'all to another plane and just ruin a game.
Well, not just that, but like I said, just the versatility alone is incredible, right? Like any situation the party finds itself in, the wizard could come up with a solution. Not that they always have to, but they could, or they may have the opportunity to come up with solutions, right? An army is chasing you, or you can just put up a wall of fire, slow them down, right? If obviously, if you need to reach somewhere quickly, teleportation. Not just for damage. Yes, damage capabilities are grand with the wizard, right? But just the utility that a wizard offers, it's unbeatable.
I love that.
So now I think let's take a look at some of, not that they're bad classes, but what would be our least favorite class? Something that you just don't enjoy playing really too much. Personally, obviously, everyone.
It's a
to each
personal
their own.
opinion. Yeah. I guess for me, my least favorite class to play, that's a tough one. And this is personal opinion. Once again, disclaimer. Not saying it's a bad class. It's just I don't see myself playing very often. For me, it's the fighter. I don't see myself playing. I can't even remember the last time I chose fighter, right? I always usually lean towards a spellcaster of some type, right? But when I think about melee combatants, the fighter, even though fighter has some great versatility, great things that it can do, especially with the new weapon mechanics in 2024, right? There's a lot a fighter can bring to the table. I just don't usually ever pick. I usually just skip right over, Again, I go for the spellcasting classes.
Yeah, I get it. I can see that with the fighter. I guess a lot of people would probably say the fighter is probably on the closer to the bottom. But at the same time, I don't think that it's all that bad. I mean, if you think about it, the fighter does give you, you can't think of the fighter as just the sword and board, right? You can go two-handed, you can go archery, you can have the wide range of weapons that can, you can use weapons as your key to unlocking different situations and scenarios you're in, right?
Yep.
Because he can be so versatile with weapons and even some abilities and some things that the fighter gets that nobody else gets, right? Action surge and such.
Yeah, but
I do get it though. And normally, when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons, people, I think, generally move towards spellcasters versus melee classes. So I get it.
I mean, heck, it's your turn. What are you gonna do? I think I'm just gonna swing my sword.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What about you?
Well, this is a tough one, right? Because I do enjoy playing, and I have played all the classes pretty much many times, and I enjoy them all in a certain sense, right? But if I had to pick one that is my least favorite, I think Ranger. Believe it or not. I don't know why. It's hard to explain why the Ranger. I think it depends on which edition of Dungeons and Dragons you play too.
Yeah.
Some editions, the Ranger's just always been lackluster,
Yep.
right? In some aspect, right? Be it the 2014 or other editions, the Ranger's just, I mean, some editions he was okay. And some add-ons and even 2024 gave him a little power boost and stuff like that. But at the same time, I guess for me, it just wasn't that great of a power scale. Yes, you do get to cast some spells. Most people fall into the archer trope when you pick Ranger, even though they can technically do melee. 95% of people pick archer. Right, so you're getting pigeonholed every time you pick an archer. You're getting pigeonholed into a specific archetype, right? You're the woodland archer ranger 95% of the time.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it's just not as, yeah, it's my least favorite. Not bad, but just not my least favorite.
I get that. I think for a lot of people, yes, I think we were turned off by the 2014. The original Ranger, when the 2014 was launched, of 5e, it was lackluster. A lot of people picked it up. They imagined, different tropes of characters to play as far as like, pulling from other source materials. Like, you think about like Drizzt and like, oh, I'm going to build a ranger and I'm going to make it like Drizzt. And, or, oh, I'm going to make a ranger just like Aragorn from Lords of the Rings, right? And they think of this trope. And then once they actually build it, they're like, that's, it didn't feel like that, and it kind of disappointed a lot of people. So I think it was turned off a lot because of that.
Yeah. So not bad, just not near the top. So, all right, well, let's move on to actual another interesting one. Species/races, depending which edition you're playing. Most favorite
for species. Oh man,
like when you see yourself playing a bard. Since that's what you're gonna play.
Yeah, mostly.
What species are you really looking at? For the most part, or something that you may not even play often, but you think is really cool.
That one's a good one. That's a tough one. I unfortunately find myself tending to trend towards human more than anything, right? Just for in the past, it's always just been about the versatility that it gave you when it came to mechanics, right? In the past, it was that extra feat or, being able to move ability points around where you ever want it, right? So I think for me, it always fell towards more of the human. But if I were to say, man, I would love to play this other racer species to have a little more fun and do a little bit more towards it, I think it would be an Aarakocra. Would be a lot of fun. Well, here's the thing. I think it's the flight mechanic. To being able to fly, you can think of a lot of situations you can get yourself out of, or advantage you can get into combat, or things that can help you through obstacles. I think Aarakocra or something with flight can be a lot of fun. So I think that'd be that's my balance between human and Aarakocra. I would go around that route.
Okay, I think that's fair. A lot of people like the flying mechanic. It's a one-trick pony. That's all it does. So that's fine. I mean, that's fair.
It gives you versatility. Fair. You can get out of situations.
Sure.
There's we're not gonna be able to get into this fort because it has a 6 foot, like a 10-foot wall. Okay, well, fly myself right over it, right?
Yeah. As you leave your party behind. Yeah, no, I get
there's
that.
There's a pit there. How are we gonna get over the pit? I got you. Right over the
as
pit,
he leaves the party behind. No, I get that.
I'm just saying, I have versatility as the flyer. So, what about you?
Oh well. Honestly, I thought you were going to pick human.
I did. A human was it? And,
even though the human, a lot of people will give distaste to. It's a blank slate, right? For the most part, it's a portrait that anybody can paint whatever kind of character they want on it. Even though technically you can do that with any race species, but obviously certain species races get stereotyped into their character types, right? Like the dwarf's going to be a gruff, the orc is going to be a meanie, whatever. But
poor orc, he just called him a meanie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Stereotype. People put them in stereotypes, is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But to get away from those kind of stereotypes and stuff, which I think the 2024 was trying to do, to get away from some of the stereotypes. But for me personally, something that I don't know why, I've always enjoyed, and I'm gonna kind of split this in half a little bit. And I'm going to put it in almost a subgenre. I'm going to put it in the dwarf gnomish range, right? It's hard for me to pick one, but for some, like dwarfs, I don't know why I like dwarfs. I guess what in our head in Lord of the Rings, what we think of a dwarf now, that's in my head now, and it's ingrained in there. And I think they're so cool, like their culture, which if you follow that aspect of dwarves, it's really cool. I like it. But I also really like gnomes and stuff like that. My favorite gnome type, I mean, if I had to pick one, it would be the gnomes from the Dragonlance. I cannot tell you why my brain has always wanted like an artificer gnome from freaking Krynn. Yeah, from Krynn, from Dragonlance, right? They live under the mountain and just blowing themselves up half the time, just trying to pursue like technology. And so I just find that so fascinating. So that probably be my, like, even though I never really play it, that's like probably my favorite when it comes to species. So
I think that gnome inventor, angle, right? Being that you picked a specific realm, thing in Kryn, but I think that gnomes have always been that angle towards that inventor type. The thinkers. That's why you think about, like, also spellcasters. A lot of people like to do gnomes as spellcasters, not just inventors.
Yeah, either spellcasters, miners, some of the that do digging under the earth, like like dark gnomes and stuff. So yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So let's move into least favorite. So actually, I'm gonna start on least favorite, Aarakocra. So
okay, hold on a second.
I'm just saying.
First disclaimer: controversial, opinion based. Don't get all upset. This is just how we feel.
So
not that they're bad.
Don't get upset.
Okay, calm down.
Look,
why are you messing with my Aarakocra?
Yeah, all right. It's a one-trick pony. If someone's picking that, it's only for that reason they can fly. Nothing else. Nothing else. Give me another reason Aarakocra is good. Nothing. You got nothing. So that's my least favorite, right? Not that it's a bad species race. It's just, for me personally, I don't like it. Onto you.
Okay. Understood.
All right.
For me, it would be, and we're talking about race and species.
Yep.
So a mimicry race. Man,
that's like on my top 5 good ones. So
when we talk about mimicry races, we're talking about a race or species who doesn't really have their own language and vocabulary. And all they do is repeat what other people say. Man, when you played that one time in one of our games, as a dungeon master, my annoyance level just continued to rise as all he did was repeat what everybody else was saying consistently.
Well, it's not just repeating the last thing that they said. It's just using their words and their voices to try to convey other meanings. It's a very complicated species to actually play. Very complicated. But it's kind of fun at the same time.
Not for the DM.
It's fun. So, but I get it though. I get it. It's very challenging. It's very challenging even for the other players when they're trying to figure out what the heck you're trying to do or say. So I get it.
Yeah,
and it's very challenging.
And that's only because if you play the species correctly, and as the player you're doing those mimicries because you want to really role play it. Not at my table, son. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I would allow it in my tables, but man,
no, you didn't this time. In our last campaign, you did.
Okay, not in this new campaign we're running. I'm not allowing it because that's a elongated campaign that's going to last over a year. And hearing that for a year,
it's not going to happen.
I will have no problem TPKing. See our previous video about killing your players. I may have less problem doing that this time.
That's true. Comment down below. Let us know what's your favorite or least favorite class and or species that you enjoy playing or don't like playing.
If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell as we have a lot of videos coming out soon. Until then, see you next time.